The home page contains all of the functionality of Paragon. Everything is here on the home page. Okay, your access to everything within Paragon is here on the home page. So at the very top here, we have a quick search bar, and we've got some links across there. We have Assume Identity, which I believe you're going to be using, Assume Identity. Okay. Do you have something similar to that now, or do they just use other people's login credentials? They have Assume Identity now. Okay, so probably nothing changing for you there. Okay, so we've got that too. Compose email. That's just a quick place, instead of having to open up your Outlook or whatever other email server that you're using, just a quick place to open up an email and send out an email real quick. You can put on attachments and do everything that you do in a normal email, but you don't have to get out of Paragon and stop what you're doing to do it. So it's just a convenience. Help will bring you to the help site. Yeah, you got it right. The help site is loaded, and I'll give you a little glimpse of the help site in a little bit. It's loaded with just helpful tools to help you learn Paragon. It has videos, it has recorded webinars, it has registration for live webinars, it has quick start guides. So it kind of hits all of the learning styles. If you like to learn by reading something, if you're a manual reader, you get a new car and you read the manual from cover to cover, then you'll like the quick start guides because they're written, you read it and follow the steps, step by step, to do what you need to do. The recorded webinar is really kind of the all-inclusive, very intensive sort of training. And so if you're audio and you like to see what you're doing and you like to hear a lot about it, then you'll like the recorded webinars. The videos is very visual, and we're actually changing up the way we're doing our videos, so it's going to be even more visual. So if you like to learn by watching, then you'll like the videos. So we try to hit everybody's learning styles with our help site. And we're about to launch a new help site within the next 30 to 60 days. So it's going to look a little different than it does right now, and hopefully better. Log off. You'll hear me say this a lot over the next day and a half, 2 days. Really important that you log off. How many people just X out of their programs now? Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times that's okay, but you will want to get out of that habit with Paragon. As long as you're working in Paragon and you're communicating with our server and you're hitting save or you're hitting search and you're getting information or you're saving information, your session timer resets every time you do that. As we go through this next day and a half, when I'm working on my computer, you will very rarely see mine go under an hour and 45 minutes. That'll probably be so the one situation that you need to be aware of where the session timer could come into play is you leave your desk, okay, you're in the middle of something, you get called away for a quick question, and sometimes those quick questions turn into 2-hour discussions. So that would be, and it is going to warn you if you're sitting there working, but maybe you're not communicating with the server. It will warn you and say, hey, do you want to log off or do you want to keep working? So the only situation where it might come into play where you may lose some data is if you're inputting a listing, because that can be kind of a lengthy process, right? So if you're inputting a listing, you're not communicating with the server because if you're not hitting the save button. Okay, so you're just inputting. You get called away, you got halfway through the listing, your session timer timed out, you lost what you put in. Paragon keeps track of your last 5 search criteria, whether you save it or not. 10? Woohoo! So down here in this big body of the home page, here you have another quick search. You have up to 15 fields that you can have in the search. It is customizable. Any of the search templates that you see when you first log into Paragon now are the default templates that your MLS set you up with. And if you like them, go ahead and use them as is. But if you would like to customize them, you can certainly do that. Okay? The middle section is sort of a message board for your MLS. They're the ones who have control of what's in here. So you've got links to your TMLS, Paragon help, videos, MLS rules, member services, so all of these things that are on your message board there. And then over to the right, you've got a market monitor, some contact activity, and a calendar. The columns in the left and the right are widgets, and they can be moved around. So if you don't like the positions that they're in now, this is static, this middle section. You can't do anything with that. You kind of scroll and you can make it bigger and smaller, but these can be rearranged any way you like. So this alerts is a widget, the search is a widget, the market monitor, the contact activity, and the calendar are all widgets. On this search bar here, if I hover over the search bar where it says search in the white section, I get a little tooltip. Anytime you see a little kind of tan box with text in it, that's a tooltip. So the tooltip says, please enter one of the following: a street name, a listing ID, an asking price range, or a listing agent. Okay? That's what you can search with in this, just on your home page, quick access to a little bit of information. So in this search bar, there's no filtering going on behind the scenes. Okay, so if you put an MLS number in, it's going to bring back that MLS number. You can put in up to, I don't even know how many MLS numbers, 30 was the last number I heard. I don't know why you'd have 30 MLS numbers written down, but if you did, you could do it in there, just separated by a tab or a comma. Okay, if you put in a street name like Maine, it's going to bring every listing associated with every main street in every town that's within your MLS. Okay, so there's no filtering going on there. So, and then we have our compose email. Okay, who knows about the Can-Spam Act? Who can tell me about, yay, tell me about the Can-Spam Act. So in order to have email privileges in Paragon, you have to first verify your email address. So go ahead and send yourself an email when it's time, when you're in parallel or whatever, and it's going to send, you will get an email in your, whatever email address your MLS has on file for you from Paragon that says, click here to verify your email address. Okay, so that satisfies the Can-Spam Act because that requires a live body to click here. So they know it's not just some computer system sending out spam emails. Okay, if you don't do that within 30 days, you will no longer have emailing privileges out of Paragon. Yes? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, so then we have our help, which brings us to our Paragon help site. And this is where I was telling you, you have access to webinar registration. Every Tuesday, we run a live webinar on various topics. So you can look in advance and see what the topic is and see what you'd like to listen to. And you just dial in. Or we send you a link in the email once you register, so you can do that way, or you can dial in. There are also recorded webinars, training videos, FAQs, quick start guides. And just to give you an idea, I'll click on these quick start guides here. And these are the topics that you will find quick start guides on. So starting with this alert, this is a message history. You're going to get messages from your MLS through here. You're going to get messages from Paragon through there. You're going to get any of your alerts in terms of things that are about to expire, listings that are about to expire. You're going to get like a 7-day, 6-day, 5-day, 4-day, 3-day, okay? Notifications that you've got going on, auto notifications that are about to expire. You'll get alerts there. And then you can manage those messages. It'll keep popping up with unread ones to annoy you so that you do something with the messages and say, yep, I read it, and I can delete it or mark it as read or whatever you do. You can manage those messages. And then our quick search here on the left-hand side of our screen. Again, we can have up to 15 fields, and it is customizable. And the way that you know things are customizable in Paragon is by this little cogwheel here. Anytime you see that on a search screen or on a report or on a grid, you know that you can customize. And then here on our contact activity, this is just kind of a snapshot of, hey, you've got activity in terms of your auto notifications that are going out. Okay, so somebody has designated something as a favorite, or they've sent you a comment, or there are new matches. that are out there, and there will be numbers in here, and they will be live links to whatever that activity is. Your market monitor. Do you guys have this on your homepage now? A market monitor? Yeah? Okay. Hot sheet? Yeah. It's the same. So it's your hot sheet. So we'll put this up here for now. And we've got new, expire alert, my listings, my pending, my sales. Okay? We have it that way because right now we're on the My Info tab, but across here we've got several different tabs. So if I click on the market tab, I'm now looking at the market information for the whole market. Okay, so I've got the same thing. So I've got solds and pendings here. Also, I have one for my office, and if I'm a multi-office firm, I have one for that. You can customize your default from 1 to 7 days. You can, on the fly, put in 1 to 30 days. In the hot list, yeah, that could be really anything. It's kind of, determined by MLS, but hot list, what determines that, what results are in there, it's anything that's hit that hot list today for whatever reason. So search, here are our search options. Can everybody see this? Should I make it a little bigger? Okay, so search by class. These are all the classes that we can search by. Do you have a multi-class search currently? Okay, you still do. And then we have our specialty searches. We have a mapping search, a hot sheet search, an auto hot sheet search. Do you have an auto hot sheet search now? No? Okay, this is really cool, I think. So when you set up your hot sheet search, you can kind of make it your default hot sheet search. So when you run your hot sheet search every day, you get certain criteria that you're wanting to see in your hot sheet search. And you can set it so that it remembers your last hot sheet search. It's going to time and date your last hot sheet search. And so when you come back and click on auto hot sheet and run it again, it's only going to run it for the last time you ran it. So if you come in the morning and you don't want to go back to your market monitor because then you're going to sift through everything you already looked at this morning, but you're getting ready to go home and you want to know what happened the rest of the day, run your auto hot sheet search and it only brings that in. This last search contains your last 10 search criteria without ever having to save anything. So it's always there. Search. So here's our listings, and this is what yours will look more like this. Your listing input and maintenance is not functional until you go live, so you're not going to see a big old listing maintenance menu or listing menu under your listing button, but this is how it will look once you go live. And then we have CMA. And so this is where we can create a CMA presentation and save one and then go back to our saved presentations. You can also add in a subject property for your CMA presentation, and if you're very resourceful, go ahead and add in a photo. If you've driven by and taken a curb appeal shot, you can add that in your CMA presentation as well. Then we have our contacts. This is where we go to add a new contact and view and manage our current contacts, and we can manage groups of contacts, our reverse prospecting and sent items. Financials are just a plethora of financial calculators at your disposal, so just play around with those and see which ones you like. Tax is your tax data. Are you going to have it? Yeah, you're going to have a. So. Okay, still real list. Okay, so nothing changes there for you. Membership rosters. The roster is a complete list of all members in Paragon. And then the membership roster, or the agent roster in fact, and the membership roster is by office alphabetical and then alphabetical within the office. Resources is where you have your statistical reporting and your links and your MLS message history, community reports, and another place to get to the help site. And then preferences. This is where you're going to set up all your preferences to make Paragon your own and make it look and feel the way that you want it to look. So we have 3 preferences wizards that we're going to go through, and then we also have a preference menu that you can get to all of the same things just from a different direction. Okay, so this is where you're going to customize your views, your office views, and your agent views. It's all done in preferences. The thing we are going to talk about is searches. Okay, so on our search, we have several different types of fields on our search grids in Paragon. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how those different types of fields work. Okay, so right here at the very top we have a status field. Okay, and next to our status field we have a magnifying glass. The magnifying glass signifies that there's data behind it that can be looked up. Okay, and the field works in two different ways. You can either start typing what you want. So all I did was type in A, and it's going to bring up every piece of data behind that magnifying glass that has an A anywhere in the word. Okay, so the more I start to type, the more I start to, so I can simply pick what I want. Or if I'm in a field and I just have no clue what's behind this magnifying glass, I can click on the magnifying glass and say, oh, okay, that's what it is. And I can scroll through and select what I want. I can close these little trees up. We call it a little search tree. Okay, I can close it up, and I can click the whole box and get everything in it. Okay, so I clicked everything. Or maybe I don't want everything and I just want a few things. So anytime you see a magnifying glass, you know there's data behind it to choose from. So you know that you can either start free typing or you can see what's in there. Okay? And so we've got customize, and we have fields, and we have containers. Containers in Paragon are signified by this blue bar. Anytime you see this blue bar in Paragon, you know you're working within a container. There's a little arrow here, and if I click on it, my container closes. So let's go ahead and customize some fields here. So I've just clicked on customize and I've clicked on fields, and it opens up this window, and here we have a whole big long list of available fields. So the left side is your choice of all the fields you can have, and your right side is all of the fields that are already there. Whenever you move things from right to left or back again, it's always going to drop them at the bottom of the list. It does this so it's easy to find. You always know where to find it. It doesn't want to presume where to put it or where you want it. It's easy for you to find. It drops it at the bottom, and then you can put it where you want it. Right here, features. Okay, so this one is, I think, super ooh-ah, like super ooh-ah. Okay, so features. So we've got a couple things going on here with features, right? It says must have, must not have, must have one or more. Okay, and I know it's a lookup field because I have my magnifying glass here, right? So I have no idea what's in there, right? So I click on it, and here are my features. Okay, what does this blue bar signify? A container. Good job, guys. Okay, so I have it on expand all right now. If I collapse all, here's a good example of what containers do. Okay, they just hold fields. Okay, so you can just have your templates divided into containers if you want. Like I said, I personally just have it all in one container. It's less confusing to me that way. Okay, but these are all of the features that are available to you to search by. Okay, in Paragon, people get really hooked on this feature field. Okay, but what is it about data in software? Okay, your search results are only as good as the input, right? Okay, so note to self, how many people know a seller who don't like to brag about everything their house has? Right? Sellers love to brag about every little thing their house has, right? And they think it's the best ever. So take advantage of that when you're doing that listing appointment and they've got this whole big long list of features that they can choose from. Let them know that your fellow realtors are searching by these features. So the more features they have, the more searchable their property becomes. So he would probably say, yep, I would say I would want electric fuel, that works okay. Natural gas works okay, don't want oil. And we'll say that works too. And so, okay, so those are all the ones that will work for him. So if I save this and I do a search, how many properties do you suppose will return?
0.
0, why?
Not to have all
Why,
three.
Mr. Candyman?
It's not going to have all 3.
It's not going to have all 3, because what did I do? When I selected them, it went to the must-have. Okay, so no house has 3 different types of heating, right? Okay, so then what we want to do is put it in the which column? Oh, I'm sorry. Must have 1 or more, okay? Yeah, so if it's got this, that's good. If it's got this, that's good. If it's got this, that's good. So now I got 14. Okay, so I'm in my search grid, which doesn't show my criteria. So what are we talking about?
Do a print.
Okay, so all right. So if we do a print plus,
So on the left-hand side, you got your search criteria page.
there we go.
And that's how you share it.
Come on.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our search grid and let's talk about map search. So I'm clicking on my little globe here. Yes. Okay, so save and save search as. Okay, so I want this to be my residential search. So my res, and I want to make this default. And I want to set it without criteria because I got all the fields in the order and the ones that I want, the ones that I don't want in and out, right? And save. So now every time I open up my residential search, this is the template that will be there for me. The default grid with the action icons and all of that.
Sure.
Yeah, because there's a lot going on there, okay? So again, just across the top here, on any page that you're on, across the top, these tabs will always tell you what you can do on this page, okay? So here's my load save search. So I just saved one, right? So I can go there and load my save search. And then here's my last search, because we've done several different things with different criteria in it, right? So it's saving, here's my last, these are all the ones that I did. So anytime I log out, log back in, I can always come back here and it's gonna save my last 10 criteria of searches that I did. And I've got my customized fields and containers, got my save search as, and my open all and close all pertaining to what? The containers, right? Good, okay. All right, so here's our search grid. And again, going across the top here, we have our checked, which I already showed you, the ones that will check, and you can hide the ones that are not checked or bring them all back. You can email this, and there are lots of different choices here on your email. You can email it as a hyperlink. You can email it as an HTML attachment, a PDF attachment. You can simply insert it into the body of the spreadsheet, as a spreadsheet into the body of the email. And you have a choice of doing all 4 listings that are there or the top listing. If I had some checked, it would have a third choice of the ones that you've got checked, all of them or the top one. Okay, so those are all the different choices that I can make in terms of my email type. Customize, I can easily customize by just clicking, dragging, and dropping. Okay, just the way it looks on the screen. So if I want my MLS number first, or I want my price first, or whatever I want, okay, I can change it that way. If I don't want action icons to show, I can take those off. But my action icons are pretty cool. So community reports is one of them. I just clicked on it, and it's going to bring me to all of these really cool community reports about statistically what the community has to offer. People, economy, schools, environment, quality of life. Okay, so that's one of my action icons. Your documents are third-party integration. Yeah, doc management. So, and then you've got a whole list of actions that you can do with these listings, okay? You can toggle these stats. So these stats right up here at the top, you can display them or not display them simply by clicking on toggle stats. Okay, I want to see them. I don't want to see them. Okay? You can create a PDF, HTML. You can add them to a CMA. So let's say you already started a CMA and you were running a search to get some comps and you've got your CMA started. You add it to a CMA and it's going to plop into the CMA presentation that you started. You can do that one of two ways. You can either start your presentation, go out and get your comps, and then there will be a little green button up here that says add to CMA, or you can do them separately and under your actions add to CMA. So either direction you come at. You should have a map one here.
Bing map.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Bing map. And there they are. So then coming across our tools here, we have shapes that we can draw on the map. We have a polygon shape, what we call a rubber band, which is a square or a rectangle, a radius. We also have something called layers, and we have address, we have points of interest, we have a legend, and we have a print feature. This red X is going to default to your broker office address. Okay, so let's say this is where they are. I click on my radius shape. I put in 15 and go. Okay. However, there's a little area in here they don't want to live in. So here we've got, yours isn't running yet. I'm sorry. Well, maybe I'm just scrolled out too much. Oh yeah, yours is not running yet.
No, it
There's,
is at the bottom.
Oh, is it at the bottom?
Take the small bar at the bottom.
oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah. There we go. So here, there's a little shape summary. Say that 5 times fast. That's running here. So if I don't want that shape anymore, I simply click on the red X and it will remove it. Okay, so I said I've got my radius, right? And then I have my area that I don't want to live in. So instead of include, I'm going to exclude that area. So here's your new data input form. And up at the top here it says that all fields marked with asterisk and bold text are required fields. Okay, lookup fields provide a list from which to select, and range fields allow low to high value for searching. So then you're going to come into Paragon and you're going to say, I want to add a residential listing. Okay, so you've got your data input sheet that you're working off of, and here is your listing input page in Paragon. Okay, so we've got some things happening here. We have your primary picture. This is where that's gonna show up. Across the top, you've got save listing and save as partial listing. A save listing in Paragon is the same as submit or publish. You save the listing, you get an MLS number, it's out there, it's searchable. So I just clicked on pictures and it pulls up my template of pictures. And I have upload multiple photos, save, check all, delete, print, verify my count, and upload help. Okay? Right here, this is the first time we're seeing this because we haven't done preferences or wizards yet. But when you see these blue and green back and next buttons, that means you're in a wizard, which means there's a step process running kind of behind the scenes, and it's going to prompt you to click next, 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 next to complete the process. Okay, so anytime you see these blue back and next buttons, you know you're in some sort of a wizard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on upload multiple photos. Okay, so I'm going to click on browse, and it's going to take me out to my picture libraries. So I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to start selecting some pictures. Click on open, and there's my pictures. It just loaded up in there. Okay, but they're not uploaded yet because I still have to click on Upload. Okay, so here are my photos. Oh, whoops, I have duplicates here, so I don't want that. Gee, what should I do you think? Should I check it maybe and click delete? Okay, delete that photo. All right, that photo's out. Uh-oh, now I have a blank space. What's going on here now? Okay, so, well, gee, I don't really want this yard to be my first shot, so where's my money shot? Which one?
Right there.
This one? All right, so drag that over and drop it. And then everything switched one field. Okay, so I can put them in any order I want. I can also add a label. I click on add label, I can give it a name, and I have 255 characters to talk about this picture. Okay, so I moved this to my primary, and if you'll notice, my primary R is still there because I haven't, what yet? Save, thank you. Okay, click on save. Yes, if you're in a wizard, okay, that's when you're going to see the back and next blue, green buttons. That's the equivalent of save. Yeah. So here's another thing that you'll want to do too. So when you talk about I had a discussion with somebody at lunch today, so I'll fill you all in. When you talk about how and where to spend your time in Paragon once you go parallel, some of the main things that you really want to focus on is A, do an inventory search on your listings, make sure they all look right. B, do a geocode search on your listings to make sure that they are all mapped, and if they are not, map them, okay? So up here in listing, missing geocode search, okay? Brings up a search template, and depending on your access level, you'll want to put all your statuses in there and view your own listing and other office listings, all listings. Well, I have a lot because I'm, logged in way up here, but you'll probably just have your own listings, or if you're a broker, your whole office listings and so on and so forth, and do that search and make sure that nothing comes up as a missing geocode, so not on the map, not searchable on a map. Okay, so let's say you have a brand new subdivision and it's not on the map yet, okay? So you've got a street that this Meadowwood Lane now continues out here because they've added on phase 3 to the subdivision, okay? And you need to map that. You simply place your pin in the general area of where that, where that listing is, even though the street may not already be mapped. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in just a second. Okay, so let's say I've got my address in and I want to validate it. So I push validate map, and there's a yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore. There's a geocode quality that's going here. So depending on how mappable your property is, so if it's not mappable and you've got the zip code in there, it's going to center it in the zip code, okay? And that's a geocode quality of like 0.85 or less, okay? If it gets to the nearest intersection, it's a 0.90. If it's actually mapped it, like found it on the map, it's a 0.95. And if you have hand placed it, it's a 1.0. Okay, so right here, this little blue layers, okay, so it's got parcel lines plus ID, and I guess yours will have area in there as well, okay? All right, so here you are, MLS Areas.
You should have plus ID also.
Do the one with ID.
Oh, okay, and ID, okay. And there you are.
Wow.
For your CMA comps.
Close.
Closed. And that's all just closed?
Pending.
Contingent? And active. Alrighty, what do we want to use for our price range? 350? All right. And where are we going? Or would you rather I just type in an address in the map search? So you might want to just go to the map and type in that property. And then typically, if you're in a subdivision, about how far out would you go? What's my square footage? 25?
To 3,000.
Okay. So let's go ahead and go to our map. So we've got that criterion. 219 Waterville.
That's an active listing though, so does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
No, it doesn't matter. And Raleigh. And let's do
27603.
All right. All right. So let's just go ahead and say, what'd you say? 2 miles?
Yeah.
And go. And there we go. So on our legend here, that tells us that green are our active listings, blue are our sold listings, purple are our pending listings. Okay, then we've got expired, withdrawn, and rented. So we've got kind of a nice selection here, right? So we can add that to our criteria and go back to our template if we wanted to add in some other criteria. Or we could just say, search now, and see what we've got. What would be your preference?
Search now.
Search now? All right, see what we got.
And you did this just coming to a search?
Yeah, I went to search and residential search.
Okay. You didn't go through the CMA, you know?
No.
Okay.
Nope, we're working right now on a quick CMA.
Okay.
So all we're doing is getting some comps, okay? So this is the scenario here is, this is a seller you've worked with many times before. You don't need to sit down and impress him with a big old presentation and a big old packet, right? He's got a property in mind that he wants to sell. He or she, sorry, I always say he, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be sexist. But he or she wants to sell, and you just need to grab some quick comps and run out the door and go meet with your seller. Okay, so that's the scenario here.
Okay.
So just for the demonstration purposes, we'll go through and let's say we're going through and we're saying, yes, this, these all look really good. I'm gonna go ahead and work with these 9. Okay, so these are the ones that I want for my comps. So all I've done is check them. Okay, so those are the ones that I want. So now I am going to view them in one of my CMA report views. Okay, so I'm clicking on CMA Quick View. And here I am. So I've got 3 of 7, page 3 of 7. I'm not sure why it says that, but I should have like 3 pages it's because it's still counting all of the 26, but it's only going to show us the 9 that we chose. Okay? So there's our 9 that we have, and if we want, we can go ahead and save this search. Okay, and we could name it our subject property if we wanted to, whatever we wanted to do. We could email this to ourselves, or we could export it into a CSV file, or we can add it to a CMA. Okay, so if you wanted to do like a little mini CMA presentation, maybe not the full blown, and you wanted to go ahead and make a little CMA out of it, you could do it there. But first, let's take a look at some of the other views. So you might want to also add the CMA Summary, okay? And this you can customize. You cannot change the column widths in this, but the more fields you add, the columns will just kind of start to squish together. So see, you've got a couple of empty ones here. So if you wanted to put more data in, you could.
So is that,
Is there a way to get dollars per square foot?
Yes. Okay, so customize, right? So here's your tip. You're wondering, hey, can it look different? Customize, right? Or depending on where you are, preferences.
now if you customize one field, does it go for your active contingent pen? Does it go for all categories?
It will, yes. Yeah. Okay, so what do you want? Sold price, and list, or one or the other, or what would you like? Yeah, how about sold and list, because we're also looking at pendings and actives, okay? Add, okay, and where would you like to see that, in what order on the, towards the end? Okay, so we'll just leave them at the bottom?
What's the difference between short label and short value?
Where are we?
Right here, right? So some are.
Oh, sure, yeah, so if you had, a little bit of data in a column, but a big, long title, if you check on the short label, it's going to give you the abbreviation of that label, so like this is checked already, so instead of saying bedrooms, because you only have a little, a single digit, right, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever it is, so instead of taking up a whole big column with the title bedrooms, you check on the short label, which is going to bring it down to BR, which gives you a nicer, cleaner look on your report. Okay, and then we have some actions here, so we could add this to our CMA, okay, or just print it out, or whatever we need to do. No, I think we just demonstrated that it does save it in there. Once you customize the report, when we went back in, it was there. So let's do that again. So let's go ahead and close this out and go back to our search and our saved property searches, and I named it CMA Summary.
But that's not where you would normally do it. I'm saying if you went in from a search and then did a quick CMA, would it pull it up that way?
Yes, yeah, so no matter which way you come at it, you're getting to the same place. You're getting to the CMA Summary report. So whether I do a new search or whether I do, yeah. So what is it that you want me to do to demonstrate to you that?
That if you did what you were doing before, where you just did a search and you said, I want,
Okay, sure, all right, yeah, let's do that.
Stonehenge, closed, active, and pending.
Okay, so we're doing active, closed,
Active
pending.
is fine. Active and closed.
Okay, well, that's fine. And you said Stonehenge?
That's right, Stonehenge.
Is subdivision?
Yeah.
So there's no drop down if you press it to be able to see there is a.
Yeah, as soon as you start typing, but I'm not seeing a Stonehenge in here.
You put stone,
Gates.
Stonegate, fine.
Okay, so what's my price range? Because we have 385 listings.
275 to 325.
Okay, 69. So we can either search or we can go right to our CMA report that we're looking for.
Denise, it does say in your CMA summary fields preferences that you have to change each. So you can choose your active fields, you can choose your sold, your pending, your expired. You need to add in. Not every time, but you need to add in so click on your customize.
Yeah, that's what I just did. I just did it for sold, pending, and active. Yeah.
It came up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once you change it, you save it as a search, but
It's just pretty much once you customize your report, it's gonna stay that way. Okay, so it's not really necessarily linked to your search. I was just showing that if you go back, if you come out and you go back in, it's still there. Add to a CMA. We have a choice now of, okay, what listings are we adding? Because I didn't check any in this one, so it's like, do you want the ones that are selected, which I didn't select any yet, so that's not a choice. And then all listings, which are 50 listings, or just the top listing. So let's go ahead and click a few. We'll take this one active, we'll take 4 sold, 5 sold, and do we have any pendings? No, I guess we didn't have any pendings. What's going on, you guys? Nobody's got anything under contract? Let's go! Okay, so we'll do one more, 6. Okay, so those are our 6. Go to Actions and add to CMA. Oh, we have 7, so 6 sold, 1 active. Okay, so then down here we have some choices. Choose the form. All right, so you can add the listings to a new CMA presentation, which, yes?
Before you navigate away,
Yeah.
the average, minimum, maximum, all that, even though you've only selected 6 out of those 50, is the averages and the calculations all based on the 50 or on the 6?
I don't know that. I'll ask.
Because they're all there in the background.
Well, let's see if they change. Well, yeah, let's deselect and see if they change. back to all. So we've got 283, yeah, they changed. Okay, so it is on, so his question was, these averages up here at the top, once we selected our 7, are they based on those 7, or are they still based on the total 50? So they are based on the ones that you select. Okay, so these averages will change as you make your selections. Back to add to our CMA. So we want our 6 listings, and at this point, for this scenario, we haven't done a CMA presentation, so we're going to go ahead and add listing to a new CMA presentation. If you had already started a CMA presentation, but you hadn't selected your comps yet, you would choose the second one, add listings to a saved CMA presentation. Okay? So select, and it brings you to the CMA Wizard. Okay, so now we don't want to go, remember we're in our quick CMA mode, we just need these comps and we need to go. So we could just print them as we had them and take that and go. But if we wanted a little bit more, we could come in and just open up some of these and say what we wanted. So if we wanted to just have that and a cover page, or that and a cover letter, or just something else that we wanted to add, we could simply select it, print that, and go. So that's your basic quick CMA. Do a search, get some comps, print them out in your CMA quick view reports, in your CMA summary, add something else if you want, and off you go. Okay, here are your preferences. So here's your preferences wizard, okay, which will not run on a tablet. Or where do we go if we're using a tablet? To the left-hand side. Okay, so that opens up your menu tree, and then you can just go step by step through your steps here. So that's what you do on a tablet. The wizard does not run on a tablet because of the software that's required to run a wizard isn't used on your tablets. And create presentation. Okay, so if we had already started one and we saved it, it would be here under our saved presentations. Okay, if we wanted to add a subject property, we could right here at this time. Even if we weren't ready to work on a CMA, but we knew some things about our subject property and wanted to go ahead and get that part in there, we could do that right now. So I just clicked on residential, add subject property. Okay, so all it is, there's a few required fields to save it as, so we've got a total number of 23 required fields to save it as a subject property. Okay, so you could go ahead and do that, and then at the point that you are in your CMA to add in your subject property, you would just go and select that. So CMA, create a presentation. Okay, so we are back in the wizard for a little bit here. So presentation name, Deputy Dog. And, whoops, I hope I didn't go too far. Okay, so here again, here's our opportunity to, if we haven't already created our subject property, to create a new subject property right here within the presentation, or load a subject property that we've already created. So when I click on load, it's going to say, okay, which one do you want? If I had a list of subject properties, it would show there. Or use an existing MLS listing, and this is only going to work if it's your own. Does anybody have a number to try? Anybody have a listing number?
I can give you one then, 1932019.
So even if it was a previously closed listing, it wouldn't?
Well, it did bring in the address. Yeah, so I mean, let's not get confused, because you can add a subject property on that page where it says subject property, okay? But in terms of putting in all of the details for a subject property, what that is that then allows you to convert that to a listing, okay? So you've got, you know, a portion of your listing data already in, okay? It's not necessary for the CMA, okay? But you're pretty sure you're gonna get this listing, you know a whole bunch of information about it, okay? So you're putting in your subject property, and then when you go to maintain that subject property, one of your options is to convert to a listing. And then it pulls up the whole big long listing data sheet.
And then populates.
Yes, and then populates what you've already got in there. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. Sorry, that was a little muddy there for a second. Hey, dog. And we're gonna hit continue. And we've got our subject property in. And we're gonna say next. I'll delete this, by the way, whoever gave me that number, so
Oh, that's fine.
no worries.
Not a problem, it's closed.
Okay, so here we can add edit photo if there isn't one already and we've taken one, okay? We can select the view that we want. There's 2 different view styles. Click next and select a client. So if this is going to be a new client in terms of the seller, we can create new client. So it's just that simple first name, last name again, right? So deputy dog, and we'll give them an email. And you have to make one primary. Okay, when you're putting in a contact, you have to make a primary. We're going to do contacts later, but. So we've got deputy dog, and we could edit this right here if we wanted to put more information, because we've got public name, company, job title, all kinds of different information we can add there. Click on next, and then we're going to select our comps. Okay, so we're going to say add comps. And they're residential comps. And we could go ahead and, is this the one that we had, like 26? Okay, so we'll pick our top 6 that we want to work with. And see our little box here, add to CMA. Everybody see that? Click on it, add to CMA. So it's asking us, do we want those 6 that we have selected, all 6, current listing, select. And now they're into our CMA. They're in there. So we can change their order if we want. We can move them up or move them down. We can customize fields, okay, just like anywhere else. If we wanted to add in more fields, we could. Next. So we're starting with our presentation here, and the first thing that we come to is this gentleman here in the plaid shirt. Adjustments. This is what you've been waiting for. I thought you'd be all excited. Okay, yeah, so here are our adjustments. All right. So are we good with our adjustments? Okay. And we click on next, and this is where we get to choose our cover page and whatever style that we like. Like vivid, we can preview it here, see it a little bit bigger. Okay, if you have your subject property added in here, this is where it will show up. If it had a picture, it would show up there. Or you could go to your edit and add a picture and put one in. And click on next. And would you like to use a footer, yes or no? And the disclaimer. Okay, and then we have another opportunity to go ahead and add some more information about the seller. We could put in an address. We've got our information in there and our title. And cover page style. So this is where we saw when we just did the preview of the cover page and we didn't have the house photo in there, that's considered agent centric. So you just have kind of a blank spot. It fills in a blank spot instead of having the actual subject property photo in there. Okay, but we can change that to subject property, and then that would put in the photo if we had one, which ours didn't. Okay, we can also go ahead and add in our logo. Okay, go next. And this is our cover letter. So we can put in the recipient's address. You can have multiple cover letters already prepared. That's what we did in our preferences. That's one of the things that we did. And next. And our agent resume. And next. information. Cute Puppies Realty, Inc. And then our subject property view. And here are our adjustments. And then here's where we get to pick whether we want the horizontal or, this is for the horizontal view. And you get to choose if you don't display the subject property at all, display it only on the first page, or display it on every page. And then the next view is the vertical view, and we have the same choices.
I can't.
And then it also, you have an opportunity to go back and customize your CMA field preferences if there's something that you want to change there. And then we're talking about, here we're talking about our property statistics. And please select which labels you would like to display on the graph, X and Y. Major grid lines, minor grid lines, select both. You can also change the price, change the color of your columns. So if you'd rather have something, scroll this in a little bit. And next. And so here's our comp price analysis. So based on our comps, it has kind of made averages for us, so, or low and high. So the low price would be $258 for our subject property. The high price would be $275, the average $268, $269. So if we select one of these, this is going to be the suggested selling price to our seller, or we can go ahead and type in one of our own, whatever we think it should be. Let's just click next and see what happens. Seller's net sheet. How many people use one? You know, or if you have a net sheet that you like better, you just use that and just plop it in. Okay. So select map image. Click here to select the map image for the report. Okay, so these are all of our, scroll this out a little bit. These were our comps.
Would you clarify what you just said?
Select the map image.
No,
or,
go back. You said you could, if we got a net sheet already.
yeah, if you have another net
So
sheet
you
that you
can-
like to use.
No, you can print it out and stick it in your.
Print it out and put it in
But
your
you can't-
packet. You can't upload it
Okay.
into the presentation, yeah. Okay, right here, my little surfer board guy. Add a contact. How many fields required to add a contact? 2. Okay, so very easy, very simple, very easy. Yosemite Sam. So we've entered our new contact. So now we're coming into view and manage contacts. So we just entered Yosemite Sam, right? Okay, so I'm going to select Yosemite Sam, and it opens up my contact wizard. Okay, are you with me? All right. So I'm going to click next, and here's my contact information. Okay, put Sammy in there. I thought we did that, but must not have saved it. And next. Okay, so here I can add new save search or load an existing save search. Okay, so if I already have a residential search that I've got running for other contacts, and this matches for this contact as well, I could load an existing one, or I could do a whole new save search for this contact. Yes. Okay, so let's say we're going to load that existing save search that we've already used for whoever we've used it for. Okay? Okay, so I've got that search, so if I wanted to, I could come in here then and do a save search as so Yosemite, and for that, and pick a new contact, which I'm in a different thing now. I had to change, so we'll save it for Betty Boop. So hold on, I forgot who I picked as my contact. Bob Smith. Okay. Okay. Yes, so I just did a save as. Okay, so now when I go into my search and my save property searches, I have a Bob Smith and I forgot who else I had. Who was the other guy? Robert Jones. So we've got a save search now associated with Bob. All right. Notification options. All notifications will be set to off. No numbers will accumulate in the total matches, new or changed columns. So we definitely want one of those. So you don't have to use the portal. If you have someone who you think that's going to be a challenge for, and you just want to send links to listings, you can do that. You can set them just to email notification only. When they get their email notification, it's going to have a link. They're going to click on the link, it's going to take them to the listings. Our listing links now have been extended to expire in 90 days as opposed to 30 days. So the links will last longer. But you know, as they're getting email notifications and links to listings and links to listing, who is it incumbent upon to manage those emails and those listings? You have access to your buyer's Outlook? Or Hotmail account? Yeah, it's the buyer, right? So I don't know about you, what your experience is with your buyers, but I would think they would start to get a little bit confused at some point and, okay, where was that email, that one I really liked, that I really wanted to see? What did I do with that email? Where's that link? Okay, so, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for setting them up with the Client Connect site if you think it's something they can learn to do. It is fairly simple, but, you know, for folks who maybe don't even have computers or just are not computer savvy and just, don't want to go that direction, this is available, okay? So I just clicked on email, link to listing, okay? So what we're doing now is we're setting up email notifications for our client. We've got our client, we've got our save search, and now we're setting up the email notifications, okay? So here we are, Bob Smith, here's his email address. If I had a secondary in there and I clicked it, it would pop that in. I didn't set one up for Bob. So I'm blind. In my preferences, I set this to blind copy me. I can exit out of it if I don't want a blind copy on what they're getting, but I do. Okay. And the subject, I can change that if I want to. The result view, I've got right now set at 10 per page. But I can change it to whatever I want. So right now, if they were to get a whole bunch of listings, they'd get, however many there were on a page. But if I wanted them to see, a brochure with map or a client full detail or whatever I wanted to pick, I can pick the view that they're going to see when they get the notification. And then immediately or recurring are my two choices in terms of how often they get the notifications. And next. And then here's our agent recommended. So notification options, again, view matches or so email notifications for agent recommended. If we wanted to add a listing here now, we could put in the listing number and say okay, and it would add one into the agent recommended. So let's go ahead and select our Client Connect with auto notify instead of our email. We need to get out of this. Okay, so right now we have him set up on email notification and we want to change him to Client Connect with auto notify. Okay, so let's say this is our new client, has his first experience with Client Connect. So we need to send them the link to their Client Connect, okay? So they're gonna get this email message in their inbox, and it says, welcome to Client Connect. To log into the site, you'll use the email address that this is being sent to, and as your login name, and create a password. So it says if it's the first time logging in, click here to create your password. So this will take them directly to that home page, that login page on the Client Connect website to create their simple 4-digit password, okay? Or they can simply click there to go directly to the listings page on the Client Connect and bypass the login page altogether. Does that make sense? Yeah. So again, the only risk in not setting up a password at this point is if sometime down the road they go into the computer and type in that URL address for that Client Connect, it's going to take them to that homepage login. And if they haven't created a password, they're not going to get in. And so good advice to just have them create that password, but not let them be scared about it, because 99.9% of the time they're going to be clicking on a link and bypassing the login page altogether. And they don't even need to worry about remembering their password, because they've got the forgot password link if they do.